Welcome to LHS Live, every Wednesday morning from 9:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. Where you'll hear from new guests every week on relevant topics. Community-based, student-driven. And now, your host, Joe Roberts.
All right, Panther Nation. Hey, I'm Joe Roberts. I'm the host of LHS Live, and I promised that I never would do this if I had a YouTube show. I promised that I never would say, hey, Panther family, hey, Panther gang, and I'm going to do it anyway because it just sounds cool once you're on camera. Panther Nation, Panther family, welcome to LHS Live. We have some really cool guests for today. Not that our last week's guest wasn't cool, but I think you guys are just really amazing. Liberty County Judge Jay Knight, Liberty County Elections Administrator Klint Bush. See, I told you I was going to give you a new title before we started, and I didn't do that.
Good deal.
Normally, I'm a man of my word. Don't hold that against me. I feel a little bit like what they say. Thomas Jefferson. He was if he was sitting all by himself, it would be like a meeting of the minds. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not that guy there. I feel like, though, we are and correct me if I'm wrong, Judge, some people have called you this generation's Mark Twain.
Hallelujah. I've been called a lot of things, believe me.
All right, well, this is a student show. I don't know if we can put that on air.
Yeah.
All right, Judge Knight, how about you just introduce yourself and tell everyone who you are?
Yeah. Jay Knight, been living in Liberty County 66 years now. And the only time I've really been gone from Liberty County was when I was off in college. And I tried my best to stay away for 8 years, and I did so. But that was time well spent at Sam Houston State University in Texas A&M. And I'm from a farming family. My dad was affiliated with American Rice Growers in Dayton, and also Texas Rice Incorporated and American Rice Incorporated. So, being that part of the heritage of Liberty County farming is big, or was at one time. And you look and see what's going on now with, the farming properties. I am interested. And so, but that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I spent time, don't take this wrong, at TDC, but that was okay. Let me explain. I spent a lot of time with TDCJ and started in '76.
So, as an administrator, right? Not
yes,
as a participant.
Not as a participant.
Okay. I just want to make that clear.
Yeah, I wasn't wearing a white uniform, but I saw the prison system when it was still very small. It was 17 units when I started out. And when I left, there was 112, and I've been to all 112 units. So you can imagine, you see the growth there, and so I'm prepared for growth here, and it takes a lot of planning. But that was just part of what I've done all my life, and I actually did teach college for 5 years, so I get to teach also. And
well, you're just a Renaissance man, is what it sounds like.
Well, we're gonna have a lesson today. It's going to be a really good lesson for everybody that hopefully they will understand a little bit more about, the budget, the county budget, and budgets in general. This is for any entity, which would include LISD, awesome. the Panther Nation.
That's right, Panther Nation, Panther family. All right, let's put a pin in that, and let's jump over to our other guest, Mr. Klint Bush. And let me try it one more time. The Liberty County Elections Administrator. That is a lot of wording.
It is a lot of wording, and voter registrar. So,
okay, you're throwing different things at me.
The state just calls you an EA. They make it real simple, an EA. My name is Klint Bush. I live in Hardin. I have been in Liberty County for 38 years. And I'm not quite as senior as my friend over there.
Takes time.
It does take time. Let's see. I got involved in civic duty and elections when I was 15. I was elected to the Hardin ISD Board of Trustees when I was 22. I was one of the youngest in the state. I believe in elections. I love elections. I love the entire process. And I've done it all my life. Now I get paid to do what I love to do, which is help people run for office, win office, lose office, get involved in your government, because your government is what you're going to make of it. So it's a little bit about me.
So what is the advertisement for "I will help you lose office"?
I'm going to help you run for office.
Okay.
I
That's
facilitate. I'm the referee
Okay.
for the football game.
Okay.
You have winners and you have losers, but as long as you run, you're a winner in my mind.
All right. So what I'm hearing from both of you is you guys have been around the block a couple of times, and for the rest of us that are in the studio audience, myself included, we're all young babies. Babies behind me, and you guys are just I'm not going to use the word old, because that's just mean. But some of these guys back here, they might use the word old, but let's call it seasoned, right?
I'm 38.
What? You're breaking up. I can't hear you.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're not going to hurt my feelings if they call me old, believe me.
All right, so we're going to kind of just ping pong back and forth, because both of you gentlemen have just amazing information that I feel like I don't really understand a bunch, and I need to be better at understanding this, because we just live in these crazy times right now. Judge, can you answer something for me? Will you please tell me what a county judge does? Because I said something inadvertently when we came in here about putting people in jail, don't lock me up.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not the kind of judge you are. And then you quickly corrected me. So apparently I have no idea what a county judge does.
You have to read up on it. It's constitutional.
Well,
county.
whoa! You said read up on it.
Yeah, well,
chill out.
Folks don't like to read, but they'll watch the videos. So,
Okay, that's right.
That's the main thing. My job is, I am basically what you'd call the CEO of the county, Chief Executive Officer. I write the budget. I preside over the commissioner's court, but I'm not a commissioner. So contrary to popular belief, I am not the boss of the commissioners. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Now, a lot of people think that I can tell them what to do, and I can tell you real quick, they will tell me where to go. I will help a commissioner anytime they ask me to, but I don't get in their business until they ask me to. And relatively, the main gist of this is the commissioners do have a boss, and they are called the people that elected them.
Okay.
Okay. Other things, Director of Emergency Management. So when something comes through here that is a crisis, Lord, we don't need them, but tornado, flood, hurricane, gas leak, train derailment, whatever. What if a plane crashes into downtown or whatever? That's my job.
Yeah, bite your tongue, Judge. Bite your tongue.
But folks don't really realize that's part of the job too. And we have a lot of tools. I have a great staff with emergency management, and they know their job well.
So I think I probably know you best. I mean, I know you from several different avenues, but probably best from your leadership during natural disaster crises. In particular, when Hurricane Harvey came through a couple of years ago,
Right.
I feel like you were on Facebook Live like every single day. You were directing people where to go, where to find help. And so that's more what my knowledge of what a county judge has done.
Mm-hmm. That's 60% of my job is going to be either administrative or, in the emergency management side, and then 40% is judicial. So actually, I as far as wearing a black robe, yeah, I do have one in my office, but I don't wear it very often. But I do probates. So if someone passes away and their family needs to have a will probated, they come see me. Also, guardianships is another part of my job. And then juvenile adjudication. Hello.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
I don't know if that's alliteration or not, but that was definitely a mouthful.
In other words, if you have a problem with any children here at school or in general in the county, if they are arrested and they actually do go through the process on the misdemeanor side, I don't do felonies, but I do misdemeanors. But what will happen is it'll go through the county attorney's office and it'll come to my office, and then I get to see the young person that misbehaved, and we decide what we're going to do with them. And our goal is to always help them. We don't punish. We help.
So if my son's actually sitting behind you somewhere, so if he does something crazy, can I just drop them off at your office, or
Bring 'em on
how,
by.
how does that work?
Yeah, bring them by. I've got 30 years of talking to
All right.
guys in TDC, so I can have a good conversation with a young person.
Do you have to give him back? That's the real question.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, you're in luck, Connor. You're safe. Okay.
All righty.
All right. Let's jump over to the other side over here. All right, Mr. Bush. You said referee. So how does this go down? What is your day like?
Every day is different. You never know what's going to walk through the door. It takes 3 months to prepare for one election. Like in November, we've already started for the November constitutional election. We have about 20 jurisdictions in the county, and at any election time, you have at least one of them having an election. So we run the elections, we prepare the ballots, we set up the polling locations, we appoint the judges, we do the entire process of counting the ballots, doing the audits. Not a lot of folks realize, but after every election, we actually do a partial hand count to make sure the machines work appropriately.
Oh, that makes me tired thinking about that.
We have a great staff. At the end of the day, on a big election, we have about 100 employees, deployed judges and clerks running the polls. And it's my responsibility to handle about 49,000 registered voters.
Wow.
It's like little ants running all over the county. I have to track them, make sure they're up to date with their voter registration, because if you come in and your voter registration's expired, you can't vote. You are a citizen. You have to follow the law, and that's what we do in my office. But people get mad at me all the time. Why can't I vote? Well, did you follow the procedures? Are you moved over here so you can't vote in this city election because you say you live in Cleveland? That doesn't give you a right to vote in the City of Liberty election, and they get mad at us and things like that.
Well, let me pause right there and ask a question, because I feel like this has happened to me before. So I forget about the election for whatever reason, and I realize on the day of, oh no, there's an election and I want to vote in it, but for some reason I happen to be in Cleveland and I won't make it back to, let's say, Dayton. I know I can't vote if there's a local something there, but if it's a state or national, could I still vote there or no?
You can, to an extent. That's called a limited ballot.
Okay.
But it's rare.
Okay.
And then I'm going to say, you've had 3 weeks to early vote, so what's the problem?
Oh, man. Wow. You're just throwing it right back at me.
I believe being a citizen is a duty, and you have some responsibilities. Yes.
I was so concerned with what Jay Knight had to say that I couldn't wrap my head around getting to the right polling spot.
We are trying to move to voting centers. That's
Okay.
where, if you can go anywhere in Liberty County and vote. I've been into Austin a lot this session, and the first special session, now the second special session. I'm trying to get a bill passed where it'll allow this county to actually use the machines that we just bought 3 years ago. The county spent $700,000 purchasing this equipment, and we want to be able to use it for vote centers. So it's never a dull moment in my office. I have people walking in off the street and say, hey, I want to dissolve my city or my school district or my local government. What do you do? So I have to tell them what to do. And, it's people's rights, but that's why I call myself a referee.
Hold on. Let me backtrack on that. You have people that walk in and say, I want to dissolve my city?
Yes.
Like, this is not an Avengers movie.
I want to dissolve my city. And
how do you dissolve a city?
There's legal steps. The first is you have to come to my office, get a petition, and then go get fellow citizens to sign off on a petition, and then it starts the ball rolling.
What's that conversation like?
They're very interesting. City of Dayton Lakes, I didn't even know that existed until somebody walked in off the street and said, I want to dissolve my city. I'm like, okay, what city do we have? Well, the City of Dayton Lakes. And I have been involved in that in, I guess, a year and a half, and then one thing led to another. Drinking water become an issue, but it's government. We work for the people, and no matter what my opinion is, we have a duty to serve.
So
that's what we do.
So Judge Knight, does he let you know if a city has been dissolved? So a disaster happens and someone asks for help. No, I'm sorry, your city's been dissolved. You're on your own.
I'll know about it, believe me. Yeah.
I can't help you out.
There are a lot of areas in the county that are incorporated cities that people do not realize they are incorporated. And that is a whole different critter when you start looking at the functions of government in those areas. Like City of Dayton, Liberty, Cleveland, Ames, Hardin, Plum Grove. These folks are really a city, a municipality. and there are different laws that they have to live by versus an unincorporated area of the county. So that's where we get involved, is the unincorporated areas of the county. But the cities have mayors and councils.
See, that whole thing kind of blows my mind, because I'm from a really, really small community, and there were maybe 10 people there, and 4 of them were horses. And so when I'm going through here and kids are coming up and say, "Hey, coach, I take the bus to so-and-so," and I'm, what is that? I don't even know what that place is. How do you get there?
Right.
The city of Dayton Lakes has 27 registered voters.
Well, that's a big block, though. If you want to pull in the city of Dayton Lakes, that's maybe a powerful lobby. I don't know. I don't know.
It's very small. Yeah.
Doesn't take much to get a majority.
No.
No.
All right, Judge. So let's jump back in here. You talked about budget, and I know when people hear the word budget, about 90% of the time, eyes roll in the back of the head, and people start, falling asleep. I've been to several council meetings and things like that, and it's interesting to me, but for the common person, probably not so much.
It's a process.
How does that impact, Joe Q voter, normal person? How does that impact them?
You pay ad valorem taxes, correct?
You know what? My wife takes care of that. I have no idea what I pay.
Yeah.
I don't even know what's in my wallet right now, so don't ask me that.
There you go. Well, I do, and you do, and Klint does, and anybody in here that owns property is going to pay ad valorem taxes. And, cities have a tax rate. A school district has a tax rate. The county has a tax rate. Consider this. How about an emergency service district? They have a tax rate.
See, I didn't even know that existed until our producer, Richard Ewing, he and I started working together, and he's, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Ewing, he sits on a board, an emergency.
He's a fire commissioner.
There, see, I knew he was something important. You'd think we'd be better friends, and I know exactly what that was. But I didn't even know those things existed.
Yeah. Hospital district, you have that. Drainage districts. We have 3 that are still in operation in the county.
What is a drainage district?
Well, they're supposed to, back in the old days, they were supposed to get the water to the crops and off the crops.
Okay.
And now people are asking them to get the water off their properties. And some things are not designed for that. So
I feel like the normal person, when they hear all this stuff, they're just going to be thinking, y'all are making this up.
No.
This is some nonsense. I don't know what it is. We're trying to put different people to work, and we're just creating things for them to do. And that's not me. Not me. I would never think that. I love everything.
It all started with one person.
Okay.
The voter.
Yep.
They said we need a city. One person said we need a city, or we need a water district, or water improvement district, or a municipal utility district, or a school district, or a hospital district. And then they do a petition, get several of the other voters, and they present that to your county commissioner's court and say, we want an election to create X, Y, or Z district. And that's how a government is born, by the people, and it's for the people.
So what I'm hearing is, when I wake up in the morning and I come to school, to work, and nothing goes wrong, that there are literally hundreds or perhaps thousands of people who are operating behind the scenes to make nothing go wrong.
Oh, absolutely.
And then if something does go wrong, there are measures and there are things in place to make that thing that's gone wrong be right again quickly.
Well, in our case, it's like Harry Truman said, the buck stops here.
So the buck stops with you?
And as far as county government, yes. And
Okay,
then as far as elections, right across the table.
Okay.
So,
No bucks stop here. You can look at my bank account. No bucks stop here.
It's interesting work. I always remember reading on the description and other jobs as required. It's like, okay, then you get out of it what you put into it. Economic development, it's a big, big part of our job now. And then managing the economic development, bringing in industry where we always had, agriculture was big, cattle, timber, crops. And now we're looking for other methods of bringing in revenue, to feed not just Liberty County, but Austin as well. You hate to say it that way, but it's a true story.
All right, so let me ask this, and probably both of you may know the answer to this. If I were ever going to approach a 60 Minutes grill type question, this might be it. So we understand that specifically the city of Liberty is somewhat landlocked as far as other schools and other communities around us, and we understand that there are certain businesses that come and go, and there are certain big businesses that, for want of a better phrase, generate revenue, so that we can help these sweet young babies behind me to get whatever it is that we need to get them. Is there a plan in place, or are you guys part of that plan in place to help bring in business, to help bring in folks that are going to generate revenue, generate jobs, generate things so that people are going to want to come to Liberty County? Because I've been here for 13 years now, and this is literally my favorite place that I've ever lived in my entire life. And so is there a plan for that?
Yes. We in 2015, when I came into office, I was hoping I would see a strategic plan for economic development in place, and there wasn't. So we quickly got together, and my old graduate school at A&M is the School of Landscape Architecture and Urban Planning, and they have a group there called Texas Target Communities, and they actually sent Aggies in their second year of graduate school down here, and they helped us write a book on economic development, strategic plan for the county, the entire county. And a lot of folks, after it's been in place for about 4 years now, it's time to redo it. A lot of folks said, how come my city wasn't included? I'll tell you why. We sent out a notice to you and you didn't come. But the bigger cities did that had like a Economic Development Council. Dayton has a DCDC. Liberty has the Liberty, Economic Development Council. Cleveland has one. I spent 11 years on the DCDC in Dayton, so I understand the function of it and how it is made. It makes a viable effort to bring in industry or bring in business, and they do a very good job of it. But it has a lot of working parts. The board is comprised of members of the community that actually live in the city of Dayton, and they are voted into that position by the city council, and they serve at the grace of the city council.
Okay.
So therefore, the council can fire them anytime they want to. But it's just one of those parts of business that they go out and solicit, maybe embrace a business to come in, and then they take it to their board. The board looks at it and says, are there any incentives that we can give these folks? And yes, maybe there are. There's a lot of tools in the toolbox for economic development, but there's another part. Once they decide they can do this, and it goes to council for approval. So there's parts of this that folks don't really go to these meetings and understand how it operates.
Well, I'm listening to you, and I'm picking up probably maybe 50% of what you're telling me and understanding it, and I'm probably going to have to go and rewatch this a couple of times so I can digest it. But I do have a follow-up question to what you said. You mentioned that the bigger cities, Cleveland, Dayton, Liberty, and I'm not going to say Maine because I wouldn't imagine there's a Maine city, but the bigger cities anyway, they have a plan in place. Is there a safety net for places like Ames or Dayton Lakes or some of these smaller places that actually have some sort of leadership structure? Is there a safety net for them if they didn't send someone to this council or create a council, or are they just, sorry, good luck, y'all are on your own?
Yeah. Well, the next time we write their book, they'll be included because now they know about it.
Okay.
And I'm happy that they will be included. Most of these strategic plans are good for about 3 to 4 years, and then things change. More population comes in, more industry comes in. But the original strategic plan showed all areas of the county and where the locations were that were acceptable for industry to actually be brought in force, a lot of it. Then there's areas in the county that we all know flood. I mean, we have a floodplain which the Trinity River cuts our county in half, and then if you really want to get it into quadrants, take State Highway 105. You have 4 parts of it there. So
that's math. That's math, Judge.
Math. Yeah,
that doesn't work well for me.
But anyway, it's really interesting work, and the nice thing is the 3 EDCs, Cleveland, Dayton, and Liberty, work with the county EDC, which I'm kind of like the self-appointed EDC guy, but I have a lot of people that work with me, which the commissioners do. Klint works with me, and and we weigh into everything that we get. If there's a company that wants to come here and they want to talk to us about a location, then we're going to talk to them. It works really well.
Perfect. We got about 5 minutes left, so we're going to start wrapping this up just a little bit. Mr. Bush, coming back over to you, if you had a message for my friends behind me, anyone that's watching, anyone that's going to watch this later on, a message about how to get themselves involved in the process, because everyone talks about change. You got that famous quote, be the change that you want to see. How do they do that on this micro level here in this county?
One thing I've learned at a younger age, when I was 15, is it's a very small world. I'm a little old boy from Hardin, Texas. I was an honorary page in the Texas House when I was a sophomore in high school, and then I got bumped up to the Senate. I've been to the White House, and I've been into a lot of places between there and the White House. You get involved. It's a small world. I went to city council meetings when I was young, 15 in high school, and I haven't stopped. And now I lead a government department. I'm involved. I make important decisions for the county and for citizens. It's a huge responsibility, but you just go to meetings. And then you will see not a lot of folks want to get involved. And then you run for office one day, or you're appointed to office. And then you start helping your fellow neighbors and your citizens. But vote. One vote, I've seen countless elections where folks have won or lost, or propositions for millions and millions of dollars have lost by 1 and 2 votes. It happens all the time. We have a proposition in Liberty County that you'll be voting on in November. It's not a county proposition, but it is a new MUD district. They're asking for $700 million in bond revenue. Probably less than 500 people will decide that election. And that's a lot of money for Liberty County.
And that's for the entire county?
It's not for the entire county. It's for a new somebody's creating a government.
Okay.
It's a municipal utility district. It's on the west side of the county. I'm not exactly sure. We're working on maps to see exactly where. But a group of folks exercised their right and said, we want to create this, and it ordered an election. But it's for $700 million. And people need to exercise their right to vote and say if they want it or no, they don't want it. There are going to be 8 different elections this November for people that's over 18, that's registered to vote, to decide, because your government is what you make it. But my one word, or 2 words, get involved.
Get involved. That's a powerful message. All right, Judge, we are almost out of time here. Yeah. What's your final thought for all these young people as far as moving forward and the hope for the future, the hope for Liberty County? What can they take away from you?
Main thing is get involved. More people. All right, I'm just gonna. How many of y'all do Facebook? Just raise your hands. Come on. Oh, come on.
Oh, you see, you're OLD. We don't do Facebook in here. You need to ask Instagram and TikTok and Snapchat.
I can only do one because I'm really just.
Well, it took us 50 years to get you on that one. Yeah, we'll slowly move you in.
There you go. But a lot of folks get on Facebook and they rant, and I read some of these. Some of these are sent to me. Somebody do a screenshot, send it to me. Did you see this? I'm like, wow. And how many folks really don't understand how government works? It's like y'all make these rules up, and then the other side of it is you collect all the funds for the county. No, we don't. We collect all the funds except for Devers ISD, Tarkington ISD, and Dayton ISD. But yes, we do collect everything else, but that goes into one location, and then it's tallied up, and the checks are sent out to the taxing entities that we collect for. So it's not like we take in $1 billion a year and it's all ours. Our budget this year is right around $50 million.
Well, that's a lot of cheddar for me.
And what, 70% of it is judicial?
About 50% is judicial. I'm just going to do this real quick. It won't take
if you can do it super quick.
Yeah. I'm going to get some scissors because when we come back, I'm going to give you all an opportunity.
Okay.
This is your tax bill.
All right.
In a perfect world, it's $1,000. Okay. Don't you wish? Your total tax bill is $1,000. Okay. That's your school tax. That's 50%. of your tax bill. It's $500. You live in the city of Liberty, guess what? It's roughly $250. So this is my county tax, $250. And the next time we come back, I'm going to break this down in little bitty pieces so people will actually understand what that pothole cost out in front of their house because of what Road and Bridge gets in the allocation of funding for taxing.
Well, we can't wait to have you back.
Yeah.
All right, we need to go ahead and wrap this up, gentlemen. I'm Joe Roberts, LHS Live. We've had with us Liberty County Judge Jay Knight, Liberty County Elections Administrator Klint Bush. Thank you for being on today. Once again, Joe Roberts, LHS Live. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next Wednesday.